Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we're bringing you on our Leader Focus segment a conversation on the hospitality industry. Aiana Resorts and Z Luxury Resorts are in conversation with Pooja Jain. Take a look.
Well, speaking of clients, the client mix is always changing between business travelers, leisure travelers, and the combination of the two. So how do you adjust your offerings to cater to these?
Well, India is now the 10th largest domestic business travel market in the world. And so that obviously dictates to a large extent, at least in terms of where the market rate sits at. What we see is a blending of business and leisure to a large extent. So research has shown that with at least the millennial generation, the tendency is to combine a business trip with an extended day or two where they're partaking in an excursion into the city, or at least some evening activity that's that's local. And so there is a sort of blending of the two. But when it comes to the Indian market in particular, I mean, if you see it today, the market's just at the beginning of an upswing, and for the first time in 9 years you've had 5% RevPAR growth, which you've seen compared, especially if you look at this first quarter. And so if you're looking at the May end numbers, all the increases that you're seeing are all driven because there were certain conventions in town, or IPL, for example. So it's either event-led or business-led, and that's essentially where the swings in the market are coming from.
Now, location has become such a buzzword when it comes to the hospitality space. But what are the strategies that drive site selection ultimately for the both of you?
When we're scouting for locations, I mean, the first thing you're taught in hotel school is it's location, 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 right? So if you get that location wrong, there's nothing you can do to fix it. For us, it's primarily frontage. So, where the site sits in terms of access. We typically look at what you have alongside, because you don't, want to start a greenfield development and then realize there's a tower coming right next to you that's going to block the view. So knowing what else is developing around you against your own boundary lines. I think with sites, I do believe that there's a feel that you get from the land, and that's probably what I enjoy the most, in fact, about being in this industry.
Do you believe in standardizing the experience across the brand, or creating a custom tailored experience that infuses the look and feel of the location? What school of thought do you belong to?
In the case of Aiana, because we're Indian service, that's essentially our ethos, and so that's the underlying factor that you'd see across, and that's where your consistency comes in from. But from a design perspective, we've tried to go completely local. So if we've got a 600-room hotel in Mecca, which is catering to the pilgrimage travel, so that has influences based on that need for serenity and peace of mind. In Doha, we've got a service department project right in the center of the financial district, but you've got access to all the major diplomatic areas. And so you want that sense of place to come in, because you want your guests to wake up and at least know where they are in the world. I think the cookie cutter format that the big American brands used to follow, has sort of dissolved now, because there is no need to now copy that across the world. I think from a consumer perspective also, there's localization, and that whole neighborhood feel is something that even the bigger American brands are going for now.
And words of wisdom for first-time entrepreneurs, perhaps looking to build a career in hospitality?
Well, as a third-generation hotelier, I think my real focus was trying to bring in scale, and I was looking at a model that I could, one, develop and also grow, and therefore going the asset-light route made the most sense. So we've completely shifted from the traditional format of owning assets to being asset light and being a pure play management company. So with Aiana, the idea really was to be able to grow the business much faster, at a much faster pace than we would if we followed the traditional development route.
Who've been the biggest influences in your careers?
I think looking at my own sort of trajectory, my biggest influence is probably still my grandfather, because he was considered to be a maverick of sorts. Every hotel he built, you had naysayers who said that, oh, he's really pushing his luck this time. And one of the things he's very famous for saying is that he doesn't believe in good luck, and that luck is something that happens to people who try something new and push their boundaries. So I think that ability to take risks and not being afraid to pursue a dream, that's probably what's my biggest inspiration.
Thank you so much for joining us.